Everybody, welcome back to the Punk Rock Player One channel, and today we are reviewing the apparent 16th studio album from Bon Jovi titled Forever, and we're just going to jump right into it. Oh, and before I do that, actually, I was reading a little bit about it beforehand, and just about the news surrounding the album, and I did see that John Bon Jovi had vocal surgery in 2022, and this is their most recent release since that. So that will definitely have me take another look at his vocals throughout the album, knowing that fact. So knowing that, let's start with Legendary. So in my original notes, not knowing that, I said the vocals were pretty good. So I was already saying the vocals are decent, but I actually did not know that he had vocal surgery. I'm guessing throat surgery, some kind of throat surgery in 2022. So considering that, it's pretty impressive, his vocal chops for this album. So even with the layering and stuff, like he had to hit those notes in order to layer them, right? Or with the auto-tune, you can only auto-tune so much. It has to sound somewhat good before you auto-tune it, you know, because you can put as much lipstick on a pig, it's still a pig. So he did pretty well with the vocals of this album, I would say, but not putting the cart before the horse here. So Legendary, I said vocals sound pretty good, and it had a lot of piano, has some bangles. I think that's the instrument, but it's the percussion instrument with all of the silver rings on it. I think that's a bangle. Might be wrong, but there are a ton of that in this album. The secondary percussion instruments, like maybe not a triangle, but the kind of stuff you'd see in a band, like maracas and a bangle or triangle. But anyway, there's a lot of bangles during the choruses of this album, and I could immediately tell this song is country tinged and acoustic driven, and has very much storied lyrics. But in my opinion, there's not enough edge in the sound for me. When I think of Bon Jovi, I connected with their first album. I haven't listened to all of the Bon Jovi albums. I am by no means a Bon Jovi like super fan, but I like the singles, the popular singles from the radio, like "It's My Life" and "Living on a Prayer" and "I Wanted Dead or Alive." Love those songs, and also love the first album. I own that album. With that has Runaway in it, and yeah, love all those songs. Very metal. So I was looking a little bit at the albums before this just to give me a little bit of context that I haven't listened to, and it seems like Bon Jovi went the country route on their album that has the road on it, like Lifeway or Highway or something like that, and they really haven't been the same since. They kind of embraced this like country, almost Christian pop rock style compared to their classic stuff and their metal stuff. So that was a little surprising. I'm not gonna lie to you. From coming from a guy that just listened to "Living on a Prayer" on repeat, and "Slippery When Wet," some songs from that, and the first album, and "It's My Life." Pretty surprising. I'll say that. A little bit like, ooh, this does not sound like the same band. But, and yeah, so continuing on this first song, it's just had very soft sounding, and not what I would personally want in a first song for a album or an album opener. And I put it has generic like wah-ohs, and those wah-ohs, those generic ones, sound like a contemporary Christian song, and that is not a compliment for me anyway. I mean, contemporary Christian music has its place, but I don't technically like it. I kind of like classic hymns, honestly. So I don't really like the contemporary Christian music, but Bon Jovi sounding like contemporary Christian, I was just, I was like, oh no, this is not good. um, Especially for the first track of the album. It, the song is a very happy song, but it's not really my cup of tea if I want to listen to Bon Jovi. It's not what I would choose. So that's the first song. The second song, We Made It, is very like folk rock, like folk with the thumps at the beginning, like Imagine Dragons, and the vocals are pretty good. So I did say that again, even not knowing that he had that surgery. So I was impressed by the vocals, so that's good. I did not like the instruments and melodies for this song, and again, I said this song, uh, We Made It Look Easy. Just sounds like a contemporary Christian song, which is fascinating to me for a Bon Jovi song. I put that they sound so soft. There's happy lyrics though, so I mean, I guess that's the trade-off. Like these guys have lived their life. They don't owe us anything, and you know, these songs just don't have any drive, honestly. These two songs anyway. There is some electric guitar towards the end for a little bit. I can tell the guitars are buried very low in the mix for this song compared to the first song. Even the acoustic guitar is like very buried. And the synth piano part throughout the song straight up sounds like Christian pop. Like, I'm pretty sure it sounds like Casting Crowns or Mercy Me. The piano melody in this song, We Made It Look Easy. Go listen to it and let me know what you guys think. It just straight up sounds like something you would be singing at church. Which, hey, if that's what they were going for, mission accomplished. So after those two songs, next song is Living Proof. I feel like this breathes some air, like they got jolted and they're like, I'm awake. Living Proof automatically, in my opinion, sounded a million times better than the first two songs. And you can actually hear the guitars. And yeah, I was just wondering, why couldn't they make the first two songs like Living Proof? I was just confused at that point listening to the album. It had cool distorted vocals, kind of like classic Bon Jovi, with the It's My Life, like wow wow do 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 wow wow, but that kind of distorted kind of vocals. So that was a nice callback, and it even had a solo, a cool bridge, and a pretty good drop too. So the album recovered very quickly in my eyes so far at the third track. So Living Proof was in my top songs of the album. Next song after that, Waves, keeps it up with, it does have edge at the beginning, which is a good sign. That's what I put in my notes. But then it immediately softens up, and then they plug back in the chorus with the electric guitar, and the song doesn't really go anywhere interesting enough to keep my attention in the first half of the song, but then they jolt themselves again and have a good solo towards the middle. And yeah, it's an all right song, I'll say. And it's still light years better than Legendary and We Made It Look Easy. So considering that, I also made this part of the top songs that I would recommend from this album. So Living Proof and Waves, good. All good. Next song after that is Seeds, and I put that it sounds like this album is finally starting to find its sound and its footing that it's going for. It just seemed like so random with Legendary and We Made It Look Easy. Just, it sounded very run of the mill. Like this is Bon Jovi. Like they don't need to put out a run of the mill song, in my opinion. Like they should only be putting bangers out. Like in my opinion, the first album, no skips. Um, yeah, there's no skips on that first album by Bon Jovi. So I was pretty shocked that listen to a Bon Jovi song that I would rather not listen to with those first two. So anyway, Seeds, I would listen to again. It's good pace and sounds much more driven, and the song has the best vocals so far of the album. And I put the guitar could be louder for this song. Um, and the violins and there's some violins and piano in the song, and a good chorus as well, a very good chorus, and it has a strong ending. But it had too much slow parts for me, and it has a very long outro. This song could have been cut like a minute short, Seeds, or maybe like 45 seconds shorter than what it is. So this song did not end up in what I would recommend, but still a decent song. I would not automatically skip it if it came up on shuffle. Next song after that is Kiss the Bride. This is obviously a very personal song related to maybe his kids or one of the band members' kids. It's a slower acoustic song and heartfelt lyrics from a father about a daughter getting married or a son-in-law getting married or what have you. But not really much to say other than that. It's a very, very slow song. I would not listen to this unless, I mean, I don't even think this would get played at a wedding. Like it's way too slow. There's no dynamics. It's just a slow song. But I understand it's a personal song for them, so I'll let that slide. Next song after that is The People's House. And for this song basically gives you guitar blue balls. So there's this sick metal riff that you can hear chugging at the very beginning. And then instead of exploding into a full song, that riff disappears. And it just becomes a completely different groove, rhythm, piano heavy Rolling Stone song. I was just like, what the heck just happened? Like you had a riff that could have led you into a good song, and you started the riff and then faded it down after maybe 4 seconds of the riff, and then got into this generic Rolling Stone style song. And don't get me wrong, I like the Rolling Stones, but I wouldn't expect Bon Jovi to sound like the Rolling Stones. That's just me. But yeah. And this cool riff actually comes back at the end of the People's House song. And you're like, oh man, there it is. And then the riff just dies out. And that's the end of the song. So before the end of the song, at least it's plugged in, but it's definitely not heavy metal at all, like no metal. It has a good guitar solo in the middle, but it's a very quick guitar solo. It's just in and out. It's just gone. Yeah, and I just put in my notes that this is not regular Bon Jovi at all. Like clearly, Bon Jovi has gone through some changes since I last listened to them. I know they don't have their main guitarist anymore. I'm pretty sure he hasn't been with them for a while. So they must have somebody else. But yeah, in my opinion, the vocals for this song just had he was delivering them fine, but they didn't have any conviction. Like it didn't feel like it meant something. It just kind of felt like he was phoning it in. And I do want to consider that he just had vocal surgery. So I mean, that's important to consider. But I mean, the lyrics combined with the vocals in this song, it just sounded uninspired. Yeah. And the and then the blue balls riff comes up at the end, and then it just reminds you of what the song could have been, and then it's just gone. So that's what I think of The People's House. Let's keep moving. The next song is Walls of Jericho, and this is a classic rock sound, and you can at least hear the guitar, which is good news, and it's very much better than The People's House, and it's the best song in the while of the album. So Walls of Jericho immediately became one of the top ones I would listen to again. So yeah, I'd say from Seeds, Kiss the Bride, and The People's House, that was a huge lull, and then Walls of Jericho picked it back up again. Next song is I Wrote You a Song, and it's a piano song, and it has good bass guitar and chill drums. Very, very chill song, and chill vocals, and a very quiet acoustic guitar. And again, the song was way too slow for me, and it's just a ballad. There's not much dynamics about it. It's just a nothing track. Next song after that is Living in Paradise, and again, this gave it a little jolt again, to like, hey, we're here, oh, we're alive. Living in Paradise has an upbeat beginning, piano and guitar kind of staccato layered together. Has a good chorus, probably the best chorus of the album, to be honest with you. But it's still missing any kind of like progression, like a change in how the melody is, or just any kind of change. It's this entire album is very predictable in where each song is going. Yeah. It didn't have very much interesting vocals either. You could have done something with the vocals, because even if he had surgery in 2022, like, you're Bon Jovi, the band, you can do any kind of production and different vocal styles and vocal delivery to change up a song and make it interesting. But yeah, and I just put that this song is it is one of the better songs on the album, but it's just a poor shadow of what Bon Jovi once was as a band. That's a rough way of putting it, but yeah, just wasn't doing it for me. Next song is My First Guitar. It has, in my opinion, very weird lyrics. He's just like fantasizing about his guitar throughout the entire song. If you play this on an aux at a party, people are going to be looking at you like, what did you just put on the aux? Get this guy off the aux. Probably, I mean, there's weird songs, right? Like Hot for Teacher. Those are some kind of weird lyrics, but the song is interesting and it kind of distracts you from the weird lyrics. Or like Stacy's Mom. The vocal delivery and the instrumental is fun, and it's interesting, and it distracts you from the weird lyrics. But this song, I probably would have been able to ignore the lyrics if the song was faster and it was just another slow song. Again, the song had potential, because it had a little kind of cool sounding solo at the end, but it was just like, just meanderingly slow, like you're just walking through a park, like on a Sunday stroll. Like, that's what I feel like this album is for. Like, if you're walking through the park on a Sunday stroll, you're not in a hurry. That's what this album sounds like visually. That's what I would visualize it as. Yeah. And there was a build up too, during that solo, but it didn't do anything with it. There was a drop, but it was like the weakest drop you will ever hear. So do not recommend that song. Next song is Hollow Man. It's a slow acoustic song, and I just put a note in here. I'm sure somebody likes this version of Bon Jovi out there, but that is definitely not me. And I just started questioning my why I listened to this at this point, at this last song. Like, what happened to the band that wrote "It's My Life" or "Living on a Prayer" or "Runaway"? Um, I mean, I understand life happens, but like, what would make you want to release this album? I'm baffled. I don't know. This is a country song, and yeah, I just put, maybe it's time for Bon Jovi to hang it up, but then again, I would hate for this to be the last Bon Jovi song to be released ever, because it's just not any. It's not a Bon Jovi song. I refuse to believe this is a Bon Jovi song. Uh, Hollow Man was rough. I Yeah, a very weak finish for the album. So, I mean, if you have a very weak beginning with Legendary and an even weaker ending with Hollow Man, like, this album is just hollow, like Hollow Man. It's just hollow. That's the best way for me to describe it. The songs I do recommend that you check out on this album, because I do want to recommend any good songs if there's some good ones. So, just to be fair, Living Proof is good. So that's one. Living Proof is good. Waves is good. And the one that I can guarantee is also good is Walls of Jericho. Those are the three. So, given that there's 3 good songs on an album of 12, I am going to have to give this album a 3 out of 10. Let me know what you guys think of the album. This, I don't know, like, this is just my opinion. If you like the album, that's cool. But yeah, that's what I think about this album. I'm probably gonna have to listen to a palate cleanser after this. Just listen to some good old classic Bon Jovi. But yeah, sound off what you think about Forever Bon Jovi, and I will see you guys later.